cricket. But first, here are the headlines. Government cuts down LPG prices. Opposition parties claim relief timed to elections. Preparations for G20 summit on in full swing. Section 144 imposed in New Delhi for the next 15 days. In a landmark discovery, Chandrayaan-3 finds sulfur on the surface of the moon. Manipur police releases statement. 2 killed, 7 injured in fresh firing. Search operations by security forces underway. All tickets for India's World Cup match against Pakistan scheduled for October this year, October 14th to be exact, sold out. And starting off with the latest updates that are coming in from Chandrayaan-3's Pragyan rover, the ISRO, that's the Indian Space Research Organization, has said the rover's laser-induced breakdown spectroscope has confirmed the presence of sulfur on the lunar surface near the South Pole through the first ever in-situ measurements. A detailed report on what other elements have also been found by the rover so far in its explorations.
India's moon mission is yielding results.
People are applauding.
The first ever on-site measurements of the South Polar region of the moon have confirmed the presence of sulfur on Earth's only natural satellite. The measurements were made by the lunar-induced breakdown spectroscopy instrument on board the Chandrayaan-3's rover Pragyan. ISRO said preliminary analysis, graphically represented, have unveiled the presence of aluminum sulfur, calcium ion, chromium and titanium on the lunar surface.
जो खासकर बात बाहर आई है कि सल्फर की जो स्पेक्ट्रल लाइन है वो क्लियर दिखती है, जो पहले अन्य जगह पे उतनी क्लैरिटी से नहीं दिखती। तो वो साउथ पोल पे जो भी जमीन उन्होंने एनालिसिस की उसमें सल्फर का प्रेजेंस क्लियरली दिखता है। तो ये अपने एक अलग प्रकार की और एक अलग तरीके की खोज की जाएगी।
Further measurements have revealed the presence of manganese, silicon and oxygen. A thorough investigation regarding the presence of hydrogen is underway. The latest revelations come days after Chandrayaan-3 profiled the temperature of soil on the moon's south pole. Since its deployment from the lander, the rover has covered a distance of approximately 8 meters and is anticipated to keep exploring the area around the Shiv Shakti landing site. One of the rover's primary objectives is to investigate the chemical composition of lunar dust and gravel. This research is yielding essential information about the moon's geology and atmosphere, contributing to our understanding of Earth's celestial neighbor. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
It's a major relief from spiraling LPG cylinder prices. Before the onset of the festival season, the government on Tuesday slashed prices of cooking gas cylinders. The price cut applies to consumers both in the general category and those under the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. The reduced prices will be effective from 30th of August, that's today, and will benefit nearly 31 crore domestic LPG consumers in the country. Take a look at all the reactions and the political battle that has erupted over the announcement, as well as what the announcement was all about.
आज ओणम और रक्षाबंधन के इस पावन अवसर पर प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने निर्णय लिया है कि 200 रुपया गैस सिलेंडर के दाम कम किए जाएंगे। सभी उपभोक्ताओं को जो डोमेस्टिक गैस सिलेंडर यूज करते हैं उसका दाम 200 रुपये कम कर दिया गया है। रक्षाबंधन पर देश भर की बहनों के लिए एक बहुत बड़ी सौगात नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने दी है।
Modi government's decision to slash the price of domestic LPG cylinders has come as a huge relief for the common man.
प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने उज्ज्वला योजना में पहले से ही गरीब बहनों को प्रति सिलेंडर के रिफिल के लिए 200 रुपए पहले से ही दे रखे थे। तो आज उज्ज्वला योजना की जो 9 करोड़ 60 लाख गरीब बहनें हैं उनको तो 400 रुपए का मुनाफा हुआ है, उनको 400 रुपए की राहत मिली है। इसलिए प्रधानमंत्री जी को राखी की भी बधाई और ये छूट देने के लिए भी आभार।
For Ujjwala Yojana beneficiaries, LPG cylinders will now cost 700 rupees, whereas for other citizens, cylinders earlier costing 1100 rupees will now be sold at 900 rupees.
इतनी महंगाई हो चुकी है, उसमें 200 रुपीज़ हमारे लिए बहुत राहत की बात है। थैंक यू मोदी जी।
200 rupees per cylinder is no doubt a big relief for a common man.
बहुत बड़ी राहत है सर, बहुत बड़ी राहत है। 200 रुपए महिलाओं के लिए बहुत बड़ी राहत है साहब जी।
वेरी गुड डिसीजन, बहुत हैप्पी।
It's a very nice decision. Given the rising food prices, it's a very good decision.
Ahead of Karnataka elections, LPG was a burning issue, with the Congress using the cylinder prices to target the government. And it continues to remain a raging topic ahead of the big 5-state elections.
Why is Anurag Thakur trying to insult the Prime Minister? Because Rajasthan is giving it at 500 rupees. The gas cylinder is at 1100 rupees now. So you still have to pay 900. And I'm sure because there's elections coming in these 5 states. Modi ji, what are you keep saying reverie. So is this reverie or is this masterstroke?
Mamata has called it INDIA impact. An opposition alliance has said that the move is timed to elections.
अरे जुमले का सरकार है, 200 से क्या होने वाला है इस देश में? अभी 1150 है, 200 कम करने से क्या, किस बहन को इसके 200 रुपए बचा के 500-700 कम करने चाहिए थे।
ममता जी के यहाँ से कई बड़े इंटरेस्टिंग बयान आ रहे हैं। आप उनसे पूछिए आपके स्टेट में और बीजेपी रूल स्टेट में 10 रुपए पर लीटर का फर्क है। 10 रुपए पर लीटर।
Modi government's decision is expected to benefit over 31 crore domestic households and over 9 crore Ujjwala household beneficiaries. Will it be advantage BJP in upcoming elections? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And there was high drama at the Mantralay as the seat of the Maharashtra Assembly is known. Dramatic visuals emerged from the Mantralay building in Mumbai, where farmers were protesting against the Maharashtra government. They were demanding compensation for their lands. Watch all the details in this report.
High drama prevailed at the Maharashtra Secretariat on Tuesday. This when a group of protesters descended on the safety net set up on its first floor, demanding a hike in compensation for the people affected by a dam project. The safety nets in the main Mantralay building was set up as a precautionary measure to prevent any potential suicide attempts. The agitation was staged at the State Secretariat around 3:30 p.m. by the Action Committee representing people affected by the Upper Vardha Dam project at Morshi in Amravati district. Reacting promptly to the evolving scenario, the on-site security personnel swiftly sprung into action. Dramatic visuals depicted police officers maneuvering on their knees across the safety net to apprehend the protesters. Videos show how police officers patiently extricated hesitant demonstrators from the netting on the first floor. The protesters had slogans written on pieces of paper in their hands, and similar pieces of paper were scattered across the netting. Mumbai police detained more than 40 persons for staging the protest, and the process for registration of an offence was going on at Marine Drive police station. Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde said that he had called the farmers for a meet.
किसानों को बुलाया था मैंने और हमारे दीपक कपूर जो है दादा भूसे इनके साथ चर्चा बैठक हुई है। एक 15 दिन के अंदर पूरी तरह उस उनके जो मुद्दे हैं उनके प्रश्न हैं उसका आढावा लिया जाएगा, रिव्यू लिया जाएगा, उसमें से रास्ता निकालेगा।
Meanwhile, the Nationalist Congress Party leader Rohit Pawar said the incident might have been avoided had the government been more responsive to the concerns of the farming community.
अगर वो आंदोलन कर रहे थे और उड़ी उन्होंने जो मारी, जम जो की, तो उसके पहले अगर सरकार ने उनका आवाज़ सुना होता, मीटिंग होती, तो शायद ये चीज़ नहीं होती। फिर भी मेरा यही कहना है कि इस तरह का आंदोलन करना योग्य नहीं है। फिर भी गवर्नमेंट ने अभी उनकी सुननी चाहिए, उनकी जो अड़चन है वो छोड़नी चाहिए।
MLA Agrawal met the farmers and assured them to raise the matter with authorities. However, the sit-in agitation continued till evening. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Huge relief in LPG prices. Govt Centre slashes prices of cooking gas by 200 rupees per cylinder following cabinet meeting chaired by the Prime Minister. Union Minister Anurag Thakur says cabinet has also approved additional subsidy of 200 rupees under Ujjwala scheme.
The auspicious occasion of Onam and Raksha Bandhan, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as is known as Bhai Narendra Modi, has given a gift to the millions and millions of sisters and the users of the LPG cylinders. The prices of the LPG gas cylinder for the domestic use has been brought down by 200 rupees per cylinder for each and every user. At the same time, there will be 75 lakh new gas connection will be given under the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana scheme.
Women and Child Development Minister Smriti Irani hails Centre's decision to slash LPG prices, says it's a unique gift to our sisters.
प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने उज्ज्वला योजना में पहले से ही गरीब बहनों को प्रति सिलेंडर के रिफिल के लिए 200 रुपए पहले से ही दे रखे थे। तो आज उज्ज्वला योजना की जो 9 करोड़ 60 लाख गरीब बहनें हैं उनको तो 400 रुपए का मुनाफा हुआ है, उनको 400 रुपए की राहत मिली है। इसलिए प्रधानमंत्री जी को राखी की भी बधाई और ये छूट देने के लिए भी आभार।
On the LPG price cut, Union Minister Piyush Goyal also reacted. And saying it was a gift. Meanwhile, the INDIA parties have claimed credit for the price cut, saying that it was a result of their efforts and hinting that the ruling NDA government at the centre was forced to cut prices due to the fear of the bloc. And we're getting more updates from Nu in Haryana, where in a big statement, Haryana Home Minister Anil Vij has now claimed that Congress MLA Maman Khan has been called for interrogation as there's a Congress link to the Nu violence. And now Maman Khan has been called for interrogation in the Nu violence case. Here's more on the latest updates that are coming in on the issue.
almost a month after the deadly violence in Nuh. Haryana Home Minister Anil Vij said that the initial probe points towards the Congress party's role in the communal clashes in Nuh and its adjoining areas.
जहां जहां पर हिंसा हुई है, मामन खान 28, 29 या 30 तारीख को वहां पर गया है। वहां के लोगों को ये उनके साथ लाइव कांटेक्ट में रहा है।
Earlier, Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar took a dig at the Grand Old Party and asked it to break its silence on Khan's alleged involvement in the clashes. LOP and senior Cong leader Bhupinder Singh Hooda and others have questioned the Khattar government.
क्यों नहीं कराती? जब एक प्रदेश के हेड ये कहते हैं कि ये सोची हुई समझी साजिश है, तो कैसा पता लगेगा? दूध का दूध, पानी का पानी कैसे होगा? उसका एक ही तरीका हाई कोर्ट के जज के अंदर जुडिशियल इंक्वायरी कराई जाए। क्या हाउस में क्यों नहीं डिस्कशन किया? जब हम कह रहे थे डिस्कस करो, सब पता लग जाता। हाई कोर्ट के जज के करवाओ, सब पता लग जाएगा। अपनी कमजोरी, अपनी विफलताओं को दूसरे पे थोपने की कोशिश की जा रही है।
As the investigation gathers pace in Nuh violence, more revelations are likely to surface. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Coming up after a very short break, preparations of the G20 summit on in full swing. Section 144 imposed in New Delhi area for next 15 days.
The Amity BBA has been ranked India's #1 BBA in the Times of India B School 2022 rankings. To apply, visit amity.edu.
Neeraj Chopra, the Olympic champion. Neeraj Chopra really like that. He looked brilliant in qualification, and that is another great throw from the Indian athlete.
With a vision to leave no one behind, the Development Working Group under G20 India made strides in advancing G20's commitment to accelerate progress towards SDGs. That's Sustainable Development Goals and strengthening efforts towards sustainable, inclusive and resilient economic growth. Here are the highlights of the DWG.
We've been having extensive discussions here, working out the details and getting consensus on some very important issues. Data for development, on digital transformation, life, women-led development.
I think what it has really I've come to appreciate now is just the different voices in the room and the different perspectives from very different sectors. So the private sector perspective, international and civil society perspective, and really the need to build consensus.
India has put on the table a very ambitious agenda with very relevant topics, and delegates here are discussing questions that are fundamental for our future.
The G20 need to be bold in our ambition. We need to come together to address the crisis as one. The theme of the Indian presidency, one earth, one family, one future, therefore is an urgent call for action.
And as the day draws near for the big summit to be held in September 9th and 10th, New Delhi is all set to host the leaders of the top economies of the top most powerful countries of the world. And with this in mind, security is being tightened. Delhi police is heightening security ahead of the summit. Police dog squads with handlers perform drills on dummy explosives planted in luggage and vehicles, for example. Here's a report on all that's happening on the security preparation front.
With just a little more than a week to go for the G20 summit in New Delhi, elaborate security arrangements have been made by Delhi police and other security agencies. New Delhi is expected to see deployment of forces from multiple agencies during the summit. A meeting was held by the Secretary with all stakeholders on Tuesday to finalize the security arrangements for the arrival of world leaders for the G20 summit.
देखिए G20 समिट भारत के लिए एक गौरव की बात है। दिल्ली पुलिस के लिए भी हमारे लिए एक बहुत ही प्रेस्टिजियस अरेंजमेंट होगा। इस बात को समझते हुए एक बेहतर स्ट्रैटेजी के साथ एडिक्वेट और रोबस्ट, स्मार्ट एंड इंटेलिजेंट पुलिस अरेंजमेंट पूरे दिल्ली में वो हर थाना क्षेत्र में रहेगा।
The police dog squad with handlers performed drills on dummy explosives planted in luggage and vehicles. The security arrangements involved Delhi Police, Indian Air Force and Central Paramilitary Forces. The Central Reserve Police Force will provide VIP security during the summit. All units of the National Security Guard have been put on standby to deal with any emergency situation. Specifically, anti-drone units equipped with advanced weaponry and jamming devices have been deployed at the summit venue. Approximately 1,000 CRPF personnel have undergone specialized training for proximate security over the past 2 months. Nearly 4,000 Delhi policemen are expected to be deployed at the Bharat Mandapam venue. Additionally, around 1,300 Delhi police personnel in plain clothes and 400 Delhi traffic police personnel will be deployed outside the G20 summit venue. In view of the upcoming G20 summit, 19 women commandos of the Delhi police have been imparted specialized training as markswomen to act as the frontline sharpshooters during the key event.
मैम ये तो बहुत गर्व की बात है हमारे लिए कि मतलब एक हमें दिल्ली पुलिस तो है ही हमारी पहचान, लेकिन उससे भी हटके हमें एक मार्क्समैन की पहचान मिली है, तो ये बहुत प्राउड मोमेंट है हमारे लिए।
Section 144 imposed in New Delhi area for the next 15 days. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And coming up in World this morning next, Russian President Vladimir Putin holds key meeting with head of Federal Bailiff Service in the Kremlin.
The Amity BBA has been ranked India's #1 BBA in the Times of India B School 2022 rankings. To apply, visit amity.edu.
And that is another great throw from the Indian athlete. Neeraj Chopra really like that. He looked brilliant in qualification, and that is another great throw from the Indian athlete.
Welcome to Republic TV once again. It's time to take a look at all the news that's making headlines across the globe. It's time for World This Morning. I'm Rukma, and from all the latest updates that are coming in from across the globe, from neighboring Pakistan, where there's some relief for Imran Khan in the Tosha Khana case, to protests in Syria as well as in Libya. All the updates on this and more, but first, here are the headlines. As Imran Khan remains in prison despite his conviction being suspended in the Tosha Khana case, his lawyers claim manipulation of justice, keeping Imran behind bars. Russian President Vladimir Putin holds key meeting with head of Federal Bailiff Service in the Kremlin. Funeral held for Wagner chief in his hometown St. Petersburg. Yevgeny Prigozhin was killed in a plane crash. Putin skips funeral. Head of FEMA urges Florida residents to take Hurricane Idalia seriously, warning the storm will be deadly. US President Joe Biden meets Costa Rican counterpart to discuss ways to strengthen ties between the two countries. And starting off first with news about Imran Khan, the Islamabad High Court has suspended the former Pakistan Prime Minister's 3-year sentence in the Tosha Khana corruption case and has ordered his release from jail in a major relief to the embattled former Prime Minister and head of the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party ahead of the upcoming general elections. Here's more.
The Islamabad High Court has suspended the corruption conviction and 3-year prison term for Imran Khan, which is a big legal victory for the hugely popular embattled former Prime Minister.
और ये हम आए हुए हैं यहाँ पर खान साहब की रिहाई के लिए। हाई कोर्ट ने बहुत ही अच्छा फैसला किया है कि इमरान खान को रिहा किया उन्होंने, पर ये अचानक उनको वारंट आया गिरफ्तारी का। इसी वजह से हम लोग यहाँ पर आए थे, बड़ी खुशी से आए थे कि भाई इमरान खान आज रिहा होगा, हम उनको देखने के लिए आए थे। बट यहाँ पर ऐसा कोई भी नहीं है, यहाँ पर कोई इतनी अवाम नहीं है।
Although he will face a retrial in due course, the ruling will enable Khan to contest the upcoming parliamentary elections. The Islamabad High Court also granted bail for Khan, but his detention will continue in another case for allegedly revealing official secrets. It was unclear whether he will be released at all, since he faces a number of criminal allegations. Khan's lawyer Shoaib Shaheen said that the Islamabad High Court issued a brief verbal order and a written ruling will be issued later. Khan was convicted and sentenced earlier this month by a court that found him guilty of concealing assets. Earlier this month, Pakistan's Election Commission had also disqualified Khan for running for office for 5 years. Under Pakistan's law, no convicted person is eligible to lead a party, run in elections or hold public office. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has criticized London's anti-traffic pollution scheme, saying it was a wrong decision by London's mayor and that the new car charge is going to hit working families. A report.
British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak criticised London's anti-traffic pollution scheme, calling it a wrong decision by London Mayor.
If you were London Mayor, would you have extended the ULEZ zone that's coming to it? No, disagree with what the Mayor is doing. I think people and families are struggling with the cost of living. That's obvious to everyone. And at that time, the Labour Party, the Labour Mayor, Sadiq Khan and Keir Starmer are introducing the ULEZ charge, which is going to hit working families. I don't think that's the right priority. I don't think that's the right thing to do, and I wish they had not done it.
He defended government's green credentials after scrapping of nutrient neutrality rules. The government claimed it will allow for an additional 100,000 homes to be built in England by 2030.
Well, today's announcement will unlock 100,000 new homes in communities where people want those homes to be built. That's fantastic for young first-time buyers. Also will provide an £18 billion boost to our economy and support tens of thousands of jobs. And we're able to do this because previously it was a disproportionate and poorly targeted old EU ruling that blocked these homes. Thankfully, we can now reverse that, and alongside that, we're investing hundreds of millions of pounds to continue protecting and enhancing our precious natural environment.
However, environmental campaigners have criticised the planned change. Sunak said he wanted to reach net zero in a way that does not hurt struggling households.
We've got a proud track record on tackling climate change. We've reduced our emissions faster than pretty much any other developed country. Just recently we made an announcement to invest in carbon capture and storage technology, where it's an industry where we can lead the world in and help reduce carbon emissions. And when it comes to tackling pollution in our rivers, we've announced a plan for water, which will see water companies investing tens of billions of pounds to improve our water infrastructure.
Sunak also highlighted the unfairness of British taxpayers funding illegal migrants.
Well, we're working through making sure that all the regulations are followed, and this goes to a broader issue, and that's the issue of fairness. I don't think it's right or fair that British taxpayers are forking out millions of pounds a day to house illegal asylums, illegal migrants in hotels up and down the country, with all the pressure that also puts on local communities. That's why we're looking at alternative accommodation like the barge, but also more fundamentally why we have to tackle this problem and stop the boats.
However, London's plan to charge drivers of polluting cars have sparked massive protests and stirred a complete political turmoil. Agency report for Republic TV.
After demonstrations erupted over revelations of a closed-door meeting with her Israeli counterpart, Libya's foreign minister has fled to Turkey, highlighting the limits of Israel's desire to restore relations with its Arab neighbors. Here's more in this report. Take a look.
Dozens of Libyans burned tires and blocked a main road in the country's capital, Tripoli, in Libya. Apart from it, talks also touched on possible Israeli assistance for humanitarian issues, agriculture and water management. Libya's PM's decision to suspend foreign minister suggested that he was not aware of the meeting. However, according to the sources, the PM knew about the talks between his foreign minister and the Israeli chief diplomat. Agency report, Republic TV.
And what began as demonstrations against rising fuel prices, economic corruption and mismanagement rapidly evolved into a broader anti-government movement across the southern region of Syria. Take a look at what's happening there in this report.
With chants of down with Bashar Assad and long live Syria, the protests in Syria have intensified. Continuing into the second week, it came as a severe economic and financial crisis that battered the war-torn country. Hundreds of people marched in South Syria. Demonstrators waved the colorful flag of the minority Druze community and burned banners of President Bashar Assad's government. In a scene that once would have been unthinkable in the Druze stronghold, protesters kicked members of the Assad's Baath party out of some of their offices, wielded the doors shut, and spray-painted anti-government slogans on the walls. This also came weeks after the Syrian president scaled back the country's expensive fuel and gasoline subsidy program. Assad also doubled meager public sector wages and pensions, accelerating inflation and further weakening the already sinking Syrian pound. However, the protests were initially driven by surging inflation and spiraling economy. It quickly shifted the focus, with marchers calling for the fall of the Assad government. The protests have rattled the Assad government, but don't seem to pose an existential threat, as they come at a time when the government forces have consolidated control over most of the country. Notably, Syrian pound has hit an all-time low of 15,500 to the US dollar at the unofficial market rate. The protest, however, reminds of the initial anti-Assad protests in 2011, which plunged the country into years of civil war. Agency report, Republic TV.
And coming up in World This Morning next, after a very short break, funeral held for Wagner chief in his hometown St. Petersburg. Yevgeny Prigozhin was killed in a plane crash. Putin skips funeral. Also coming up, the head of FEMA urges Florida residents to take Hurricane Idalia seriously, warning the storm will be deadly.
The Amity BBA has been ranked India's #1 BBA in the Times of India B School 2022 rankings. To apply, visit amity.edu.
And extreme weather conditions continue to prevail in many parts of the globe, where landslides and floods have washed away roads overlooking Lake Como in northern Italy, where it is feared that severe storms could cause a disaster. All the details in our next report.
Heavy rains and bad weather caused landslides and flooding across northern Italy. In northern and central Italy, firefighters had to intervene in over 100 incidents caused by water. Due to intense rains in the province of Como, more than 50 interventions were carried out by the Italian fire brigade.